Hello everyone, I hope that you are very, very well. Today was a very exciting day. Today, me and my best friend went to Hay-on-Wye, the town of books. That is its actual name. It is a town filled with bookshops. And I don't think we quite made it to all of them, but we made it to most of them and all the big ones certainly. And had a jolly old time wandering around from bookshop to bookshop. I, of course, took you with me. So here are some highlights from our tour around Hay-on-Wye, and then I'm going to show you some of the books that I picked up today. It was a lot of bookshops. And a lot of books. I have two tote bags here. So let's get to it. Let's see what I've picked up. The first bookshop we went to was the poetry bookshop. Now, I really enjoy reading poetry, but I don't read very much of it. I don't really know what sort of thing to look for when I'm reading poetry. So I picked up a couple of anthologies. So the first one is She is Fierce, and then She Will Soar, which I think is kind of a sequel to this one. They've both been collected by Anna Sampson, and they're both a selection of poems by women from all over the world, all throughout history. So yeah, I think these are going to be a really fun way of coming across some new poets, as well as some I have heard of. So yeah, I've had a flick through the contents page, and there were some poets who I have heard of and who have read and enjoyed before, and lots that I haven't. So I'm looking forward to discovering some new poets. I also bought Black Flamingo by Dean Atter. This is a novel but written in poetry and mixed media form, so it's all kind of, as you can see inside, there's like all sorts of different things going on. And it's a good flick through. There we go. So you can see there's lots of different kind of things. This is about a boy who wants to become a drag queen, I believe. I've heard really good things about this, so I'm very excited to read it. I can't remember which shop I got this next one from because they are all sort of blurred into one in my mind, but it is The Mistresses of Henry VIII by Kelly Hart. And as you can see from this lovely shelf behind me, and if you've seen my Tudor TBR video, I have a lot of Tudor books on my shelf. I really enjoy reading books about the Tudors, and I have a lot of books about the wives of Henry VIII. Not so many about the other women in his life. So I'm looking forward to reading this. I think it's going to sort of cross over really well with what I already know, but most of it I have no idea about. I know a little bit about Elizabeth Blount and Mary Boleyn, and that's about the extent of my knowledge. So yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting read into some women who are often overlooked in history. The next bookshop we went to, I got quite a few from that one. And so the first one is Jeanette Winterson's Courage Calls to Courage Everywhere. Now, every time I go to any bookshop and I look on the feminist shelf, this is there. And it looks really interesting, but it's $7.99 full price, which is frankly outrageous for this volume. And I'm just a cheapskate. And it was half price, so I bought it. And I believe this is kind of a sort of essay on suffragettes or feminism or something along those lines. I don't actually know that much about it, so I'm excited. But I mean, this is the back of the book, so I think that's the sort of tone that we can expect from this. I think it's going to be a fairly impactful but short read. I also picked up Disobedience by Naomi Alderman, and I remember when the film for this came out, I didn't actually go see it, but I did sort of see the sort of buzz and discussion about it, and I believe that this is an FF romance, a sapphic romance, set in a very closed off Jewish community in the UK. So, I mean, we know that I will read anything queer. We already know that. And also, I feel like I've read very few books about the Jewish community. I don't know if this is a positive portrayal necessarily. I think it's a sort of portrayal of a very insulated community. But I think it's going to be eye-opening in many ways, but also hopefully a very, very good eye-opening read. The last 3 books I got from that shop are all Ursula K. Le Guin books. They are all masterworks. I'm indifferent to these editions, but they do all match, which I am a fan of, and they match my current Ursula K. Le Guin. So a few months ago I read The Left Hand of Darkness and loved it. I'd read the Earthsea trilogy a few years ago and was kind of indifferent to it, but I just loved The Left Hand of Darkness. So these are all in the same kind of universe, I think. So we've got The Word for World is Forest, which apparently won the Hugo Award. There's Worlds of Exile and Illusion, which is 3 short stories. The Haynish novels, there we go. I couldn't remember the name of the series, but it's the Haynish series. And then also The Dispossessed. And so the Haynish series, or Haynish cycle, I think it's called, is a lot of separate stories that are all set in the same universe and all explore different sort of anthropological and cultural ideas through a science fiction lens, that is absolutely my brand of science fiction. So yes, when I read The Left Hand of Darkness, I've been on the lookout for some more ever since. So I've got a few more in that series here. We went to a lot of bookshops where we didn't buy any books, either because they were more expensive bookshops, or we just didn't see anything that was interesting to us, or it specialised in something that wasn't our genre. The last bookshop we went to, though, is the Hay Cinema Bookshop, one of my favourite bookshops. It is enormous. It's just astounding. We were in there for so long, and I think I only saw about half of it. It's just enormous. And they don't really sell full price books. Everything is discounted. Some of it is secondhand, some of it is new but discounted. And I bought 3 books, so I shall show you now what I bought. The first one is Journey to the Centre of the Earth by Jules Verne. I read 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea earlier this year, and I loved it. It was really, really great. So I've been looking for more Jules Verne ever since, so I'm going to be reading Journey to the Centre of the Earth, hopefully at some point soon. Hopefully I won't put it off for too long. But yes, also I like that it's a vintage classics edition. I like these editions. The covers are always kind of well suited to the books themselves, but matching spines, that's what we love. I probably would have bought it in a different edition, especially for, how much was it? Especially for $2.99, I probably would have bought it in a different edition. Maybe not Wordsworth Classics. They did have a whole wall of Wordsworth Classics, and if you've seen my most recent video, you will know how I feel about them. So I did not investigate those. But yes, I got this one. And as if I didn't have enough books on the Tudors, I got Catherine Howard, The Tragic Story of Henry VIII's Fifth Queen by Josephine Wilkinson. Now I have read Young and Damned and Fair, which is a different biography of Catherine Howard, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think this is a slightly more popular non-fiction in that it's more about the sort of narrative and less about less of a sort of academic presentation of research, which Young and Damned and Fair definitely was. I did see that some of the reviews kind of said that it maybe erred on the side of being overly favourable to Catherine Howard in favour of basically counteracting centuries of wrongdoing on history's part towards her, which, you know, you can't be too mad about that. We've got to start somewhere. Catherine Howard is such I mean, her story is just heartbreaking and has been mistold for hundreds of years. So I am looking forward to reading this one and reading a different perspective on her life. And the final book that I got is America Is Not the Heart by Elaine Castillo. This is probably the only one where I just saw it on the shelf, saw the title and was like, that looks like something I would be interested in. With no prior knowledge, I wasn't hunting for it or looking for the author or anything. I just saw it and thought, that looks interesting. I found it in the wild, as it were. And it is about a Filipino girl who moves to America, having had a very troubled childhood, I believe. I don't know much more about it than that, but the blurb seems really interesting. And yeah, this is the sort of book that I've been getting more into recently. I think this kind of probably like halfway between light-hearted contemporary and literary fiction, that kind of halfway house. So yes, I'm looking forward to reading this one as well. Thank you for joining me on my little excursion to the town of books. If you have been to Hay-on-Wye, let me know what you thought, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like, give it a comment, all those things. I hope that you have a lovely day, and I will see you next time. Bye!